Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. So today we're gonna create from scratch this kind of techno groove. So this track is actually a track from Markle called Biohazard, and today we're gonna create this from scratch just by using Ableton stock plugin. The great thing with this groove is that it also works with much more deeper kick. So if you have something more like this type of kick, or more like a hammering kick. So it's basically made from a techno kick rumble and the bass line together, and we're gonna recreate that from scratch right now. So Ctrl+Shift+T to create a MIDI track, and I'm just gonna add a drum rack where I'm gonna load my kick drum. So drum rack, and for the kick drum I use my Solid Techno Kick 2 bank, and I use the kick drum number 52. MIDI pattern, it's 4 to floor. Bring up the velocity. Now first thing is the rumble. So for that I use my kick verb to Ableton rack. I will put the link in the description if you want to find out more about this rack, but basically it's a rack I made which allow me to instantly get rumble, and you have two types of rumble, either delay or reverb. It's really up to you. So here is with the reverb I don't want, so I bring this to the minimum. So I want the delay. So the delay you can have different type of groove, like this or like this, but today the one we like, it's like this. You get this effect. I'm gonna reduce the volume a little bit, and if you wanna see more a little bit about the rumble, you can see that actually the delay we choose is in 316, and with the dry rate obviously 100%, feedback 50%. Again, if you wanna find out more about this rack and all the process, I will put it in the description, but I already make so many rumble tutorials, so I'm just gonna focus on the most important. I'm gonna as well add some sidechain. So here it's my sidechain track here, which is just a 909 clap that I use to trigger the sidechain. So now when I bring down the sidechain to minus infinite, it's kind of creating this bumping effect, but I don't want that much. Now other thing we can adjust is the frequency and the Q. It's basically a low pass filter, so you will adjust the frequency and the resonance of your low pass filter. So here downscale, I want to listen a little bit the mid of the rumble. Sometimes I want just the sub. Here I want to hear it a little bit. But then here again, you can experiment. Maybe open it a bit more, a little bit less, depend on your taste. And we already got a solid rumble. So one thing I like to do with my kick drum is to add a slight amount of reverb, which is just gonna help to put your kick in the mix, avoiding to be too dry. It's gonna as well enhance a little bit the transients, which is gonna help cut through the mix. So for that, I'm just gonna use Ableton default reverb. And obviously here we're gonna have too much reverb. We don't want that. So we can reduce the dry rate amount. No pre-delay. You can see the decay is too long. One thing as well, I feel like we hear too much the room, so if you bring the diffuse to the minimum, you will hear so it's pretty subtle, but it does the job. And finally what I've done is I add the limiter. So this is not necessary, sometimes I do, sometimes no. Just gonna and yeah, that's our kick drum and rumble. Now to add this extra groove, we're gonna need to use the bass. So Ctrl+Shift+T, and we're gonna use operator. Basically you can use any synth. What we want, it's classic bass sound. But first let's talk about the MIDI pattern, because it's basically what's gonna give the groove. So double click to create your MIDI clip. Your kid's gonna be playing at 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. And we want to reduce this like this. And so your kick gonna be playing here, and we want a double note in this section here. Obviously this is too high, but first let's pitch is G sharp, which is the same tonality than the kick. And obviously we're gonna pitch this down. Okay, so now we have this. which which is not bad, but we can improve it. So here the idea is to have a bass sound which got a little bit of mid-range, you know, because you don't want to be too subby, you want to be able to hear it because that's what's gonna give the groove. So I'm gonna use a square waveform which are richer in harmonic than the sine wave. So we're gonna bring down the filter, crank up the resonance, and add a filter envelope modulation to open the filter very fast to create this punch. So I go to the filter section. You can see here the envelope is not playing. I'm just gonna bring down. All right, so now we're gonna apply an envelope and you're gonna get this punch. You see it, you get this nice attack, and let's try to. If you crank up the resonance, that accentuates the effect. You can play with the GK, maybe. Something like that. You can maybe reduce the volume. And now you get something that work well. Then here in the example, I just add a bit of reverb and low pass. Just gonna add Ableton reverb. This is my default preset. You might have one different, but you can just copy the same parameter if you like and save as default preset, so you will have the same than me. Something like that, maybe. And then just gonna use a low pass filter. Here again, depends if you wanna lower it more. Alright, and that's pretty much it for today. I hope you like this video. As usual, the files are available for free, the link in the description. I will make them available for Live 10 and Live 11. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you soon, guys. Bye bye.